All right, Sistas fans, we know that in next week's episode, we're going to have a conversation in the penthouse between Andi and Karen in regards to the Zach situation. You got Karen going, look, he was sweet like he used to be. God knows when that, the last time Zach was that sweet to me was. And then Andy's like, look, Karen, Zach is in love with Fatima. We have closed this book. You saw the way he came to me. And that's enough to make the truth come out. Basically, in regards to, hey, you saw what happened when I came to the parking lot when you thought I was dead, and just based on the way he ran up to me and scooped me up for the hug, and the way he acted, the truth has come out. I mean, what did she say? Well, tragedy makes you show what you really feel. So she's still holding on to that moment, but that's the problem with Zach. It was a moment where he felt emotional and whatnot. And to be fair, I'm not saying I'm on Karen's side here, but to be fair, Zach isn't doing himself any favors by how he's been acting lately. I mean, it's one thing to act the way he did at the salon, but later that night, on the phone, like, oh yeah, it feels so good to hear your voice, and I don't hate you, I love you, and this, that, and the third. You could just tell, like, Zach was not helping his case at all, and he's just making it look worse and worse and worse for himself to Fatima. And to be honest, in some ways, it's almost like he doesn't want to I don't even know if I should say he's leading Karen on, but he isn't doing anything to stop the flirtation and whatnot. It's almost like he wants to live in this, okay, well, I got Fatima, but my ex still wants me back. And there's some people have even messaged me like, do you feel like Zach is in competition with Aaron? Case in point, if you go back to last week's episode, when Zach was hugging Karen and saying, oh, I hope you fix up the salon and whatnot, pay attention to Aaron in the background. He is pissed. He's like, as much as I rubbed her crusty feet and spent all my money on ice cream and pickles and Chinese food, now Zach swoops in and it just undoes everything I've done to get Karen to love me. Now I got to start all over from square one. Then this Jennifer chick, she done made things even worse and harder for me. Now I'm really screwed. I feel like at some point Andi is going to have to pick a side, because of the fact that in the episode 9 synopsis you have Karen giving Andi an ultimatum, and I think it's safe to say that at some point Karen is going to confront Andi saying, look, you either pick me and support my campaign to get Zach back, or you stand against me because you're on Team Fatima. I mean, there's always that sense of betrayal. And something about Andi that I feel shouldn't be ignored, and I don't think a lot of people have talked about it. At this point in the series, Andi seems to be an in-universe representation of Zatima fans. She's the one rooting for Zach and Fatima to make it, because in the promo for next week, you have Zach coming over to the law firm to let Fatima know that he's going to the salon to see Karen. And then Andy's like, Zach, why are you doing this? What's wrong with you? And then later on, we see Fatima, fidgeting with the wedding ring and saying, I'm telling you, it's not going to be good. And it looks like she's going to take it off. And to be honest, can you really blame her? And then later in the promo, it looks like Zach and Karen are about to kiss, and Fatima's watching from the parking lot. So yikes, that isn't going to end too well. But yeah, I think that while Andi has the best intentions at heart, she's right. You can have more than one friend. And I think I pointed this out in a little short I did, where you have Fatima saying, yeah, I know you can't talk to me about Karen. And then you have Karen going, oh, well, yeah, I know you want to change subjects because she's your best friend, right? There's always that sense of betrayal where it's like Karen, anytime she says, oh, your new best friend or whatever, it's almost like, oh, yeah, so you're not loyal to me, Andi. But with Fatima, she's understanding of why Andi can't talk to her about Karen stuff. But when you're in a situation like this, in a love triangle with two of your friends, at some point you're going to have to pick a side. And to be honest, I think Andi's perspective is the most important one, because she's seen both sides of the spectrum for 3 years without a doubt. She has heard Karen's nonstop complaining about Zach, how awful Zach is and whatnot. Yet the story is completely flipped when it comes to the way Fatima talks about Zach, because how many times has Fatima been gushing to Andi about Zach, and Andi used to say, wait, are you talking about the same Zach that I know? Wow, it doesn't sound like him at all. Because Andi has been an outsider looking in, and she sees the way Zach is now compared to the way he was with Karen. Clearly showing that, yeah, Karen, the Zach you're in love with was the Zach of the past. And the Zach that you currently see is not the same Zach. Danny said it herself. Look, yeah, he's changed, but he didn't change for you, Karen. He changed for Fatima. So hopefully Andi stands firm and picks her own side. And without a shadow of a doubt, between Fatima and Karen, Karen's going to be the one to lay down the ultimatum as opposed to Fatima. I think that at this point, well, I've said this a long time, Karen needs to be kicked to the curb. She is a terrible friend. I feel like, oh yeah, well, I stood by you when it came to Gary all this time, but now you can't stand by me with Zach. She's fighting a losing battle. She is delusional. But regardless, I can't wait for episode 9 to see what Andi decides to do. But hopefully she's high when she does it, because the way she just went off, or the way she just told Gary what it was, I hope she does the same thing with Karen. But we'll just have to wait and see. So regardless, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like and subscribe, and whose side should Andi choose?